Hello and welcome back to the go-kart build. Now, last episode I built this and now this morning I just put the engine in place to have a little look around, and I am going to scrap my previous idea, which was basically having something like this with slots in it somewhere here so that you could have an adjustment on the tensioner part. I can't really see it, but you know, big, clumsy, requires a lot of bolts and you know. However, I have had a better idea. Now, as the engine is on its mounts that they would be on a bike, so therefore the footrest bolts are empty. And you know, they are here rather close to the chain itself. So why not just put the tensioner on them? And that is a better idea. Now, I've also scrapped my previous tensioner, which was the roller of the Mazda. I guess it was the timing belt. Yeah, the timing belt roller. And I've found this. Now, this doesn't have a bearing, it's just lots of lube on a perfectly sitting bolt. Now, yeah, I was going to have some adjustments here and there so that you can maybe adjust it if you need to change the sprocket. But you know, I reckon I'm pretty happy with just bolting that there, so that it's sort of a little bit tense, but you know, when you decelerate it doesn't just sort of start eating the case. Now you might be asking, what are these doing here? Well, I borrowed them off my pit bike just to see if the holes match up, and they do. So I can make a plate with the same hole pattern as this. Now, why didn't I just drill the holes according to the engine? Well, I thought that now that the engine's here, it'll be easier to, you know, do it this way, so that I don't need to be bending my neck all the time and measuring and guessing, you know. I'll just, yeah. one of the bolt holes doesn't hold a bolt, so I've redesigned it slightly, and this is what I will have. I'll just weld that piece to there, and then I'll put the engine back onto the go-kart, hopefully for the last time in a while. And then I'll see where the roller tensioner part goes. Right, this is the underneath of my engine, and this is my newly made part. That's how the chain goes. And I bolted my roller onto the offcut of this. And just as lucky as I am, it seems that all I need to do is weld that there. Maybe cut a bit excess off, and this shall do for now until I get a new chain and fit the bigger sprocket. And I've probably will do the test drive with this sprocket and chain, and then see how it goes, and you know, maybe it might not even need a bigger front sprocket, or in this case top sprocket, but you know, the one on the engine and gearbox output shaft. This is a lamp, by the way, just ignore that. I reckon it holds. This could be a tricky one to tighten once it's all in place. However, I'm going to weld the centre bolt in, because then it'll ease adjustment of this gap. Because there's no bearing, it's just lube. If only that bolt hole hadn't been full of metal, could have maybe got away with a lot smaller piece. Just a small piece like this, and you know, with 3 holes in it. Moment of truth. Starting to realise that it's not quite straight. I reckon that's the tightness we want there. I'll just hold that in place. Tighten the nut on the other side. My tools are up for it. Now I need a shorter socket and an angle-y bit. Barely fits in there though. Talk about design flaws and badly positioned stuff on cars, and then I've managed to build something myself that is stupidly placed. Not sure if this is even doing anything. Well, that might be it. It'll sort of stops and sticks for every now and then, but you know, I reckon it'll wear itself in. So yeah, that is the chain in place. And just because I have a mind of a child, I want to see it turn with a starter motor. Where's the bloody that thing? I think my battery needs to charge. Again. Been doing that too many times now. Now that the engine is in place and the chain is in place, I want to get it down off the little metal stand I've had it on. And you know, my problem has been the tyres don't hold air. Now I had a little look at the front one already. I took the inner tube out and didn't find any holes in it, so I just cleaned it all up and put it back together, and then I realised that they say tubeless on them. So I was like, well, why don't I go tubeless with the back tyres? So, here's how. We start with taking the wheels apart. Hey, wait a minute. This is 2 holes for... Damn. This thing has 2... It has a hole on both sides for the fucking valve thingy. Oh well. We shall find a solution to that problem. Because they do sit rather tight on the rim. Damn. Bit of a fight. There you go. Starting to break the bead, even though there isn't one. But they do just sit rather tightly on. Right. Yeah, this is the inner part, and it also has a valve hole. Ow. Right, I want this to be clean. Now, the best option would to be welding it. However, I don't have the equipment to weld aluminium. So what I'm going to do is put a bolt through it. I actually want the bolt to be clean also. Huh. The damn can of sealant has sealed itself. It's good that it sealed itself because it is still the mustard. Yeah, can't remember what I bought this sealant for, but it has been very useful. Okay, that's a bit of a bad bit. Let's wipe it on the edge of the table. Smear the bolt in sealant. Now another option would be to take some kind of silicone glue and glue a piece of metal or aluminium just on there smoothly, but I can't be bothered to wait for it to dry. loads of it. There you go. Maybe a bit too much. Right, well, I'll wipe the excess off. Maybe overdone it a bit, just a touch. Now, to the actual point. How is a tubeless tyre different? Well, it doesn't have an inner tube, essentially. Now, you might be asking, how do you expect it to hold air if it doesn't hold air with an inner tube? Well, I'll need to clean up all these edges that hit the tyre and this on both of these parts. So how I'll do that is take a bit of sandpaper on a flat surface and then just go starting to see a surface around the inner edge that is starting to get sanded. So I just want to make sure I have a nice ring all around for at least some point. I reckon that's good enough. And then the same on the other one. I reckon that'll do. Now next you want to make sure that the area where the tyre sits is nice and clean. And there's the sealant stuff on this rag. Now you don't want to use the sealant on the lip of the tyre. You want to use a bit of lube. Because if you use the sealer, you might just glue the tyres on, so if you have any problems and want to take it off, you've had it. And I just slip the inside piece on. Now what we don't want to forget is your tubeless valve. Got these from my local garage. Said they're a couple of euros each, but he was in such a hurry that he said pay next time as he come over. Now, they are, however, cheap enough for me to still visit them again, so you know, don't need to steal them. They're like, what, a couple of euros each. Yeah. Now you want to make sure that hole for the valve is clean. So we get our rag once again and our brake cleaner. happy with how the hole looks on the inside. It's a bit rough on the edges, so just quickly get the drill. Right, I reckon that's alright. And then just one more wipe to get all the metal that might have come off. Now here you also want to use the lube. Now the hole is a bit smaller than the diameter of that, so it will squeeze against it nicely. Right, so I don't have a valve pulling tool, so what I'm going to do instead is take a socket, put a tuning style cap onto the valve, then just pull it through. Using this off-cut piece of metal, putting it in between that, like so, and just turning it, and it pops into place. Nice and nice. Good thing I got the shorter ones because, you know, it is rather close to the hub. Right, now that I've been smearing this all over the table, I'll give it another quick wipe. Now what you want to do is put just a thin layer of the sealants on the sanded area of the rim. Now we want to lubricate the other, I worked that already down. Lubricate the other side of the tyre. You can actually buy tyre grease, which tyre shops use. It's like a big block of soap in a bucket that you take with a brush. But, you know, some say Vaseline actually swells the rubber. I haven't had that problem. And in fact this is EP lithium grease. So yeah, there you have it. And now put the two pieces together. Move it around to smear the sealant in place. And screw it back together. enough air for the tyre to go onto the rim properly. My plan is now to let it settle, the sealant that is, let it settle for a while without being under pressure. I'll put the valve stem back in. And then maybe in a couple of hours I can fill them up and put them onto the go-kart to see if they hold air. If they won't, I've wasted your time and I'll have to patch up that inner tube. Right, I'll do the same one for the other one and then maybe go and have a cup of coffee, and hopefully by then they have settled a bit. How long does this thing say? How to use it, but it doesn't say anything about whether it's useful immediately or whether you have to let it settle. It doesn't go hard. Well, I'll anyway let it settle. I can't seem to find a hole in this one, but I mean, definitely something else wrong with it. I mean, if it doesn't leak, why doesn't it hold air? Right, they've been a couple of hours now, so it is the moment of truth. This is the first one we did. It's not holding air. Second one we did. No, that's not holding air either. This sealant isn't airtight, so I'll have to find a little trick around that. Maybe some better sealants. The idea, however, remains the same, that we're going tubeless with these. Right, it's the first time sitting on my go-kart and all four wheels are holding air. Ish. So I found this and I replaced the yellow stuff with it. Except this one still leaks a bit from the plugged valve hole because I was too lazy to replace the sealant on that. Yeah. Anyway, next episode I will be fitting the seats in a reasonable position because obviously it's still not on. But that I will be filming in a month or two. Because now I have about 5 videos prepared. So while those videos shall be shortly uploading one every week, I'll be cleaning in here. I'll clean the back area, so hopefully if I'm doing another tyre job I'll be doing it at the proper workbench. And by the time you're watching this, I might have actually done all that and fixed the tyre, who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching, stay tuned for the next episode. Or whatever I'm doing in the next video. Bye.